It was a game-changing match that brought WrestleMania new creative outlets and new chances for wrestlers to get to the top of the mountain. Then it became its own thing, and it continues in its 19th year. It is Money in the Bank.
Here comes the money. Here we go.
The year, 2005. Chris Jericho and Rock's personal writer, Brian Garrett's, concoct a unique opportunity for a handful of superstars that had nothing going on at WrestleMania. They're saying Chris Jericho gets credit for being the own-person creator, but he actually helped create it behind the scenes.
Love it.
That's what they say. No one's really like, yeah, that was my idea.
Right.
Or everyone's like, yeah, that was my idea.
Yeah.
You know, that's what everywhere I went looking for who created this match, Brian and Chris's name kept coming up, but no one was like, yeah, it was mine.
Yeah.
But they did have Chris Jericho bring it to the Commissioner of Raw on air. The idea, a briefcase containing a championship contract will be hung above the ring. Whoever can climb up the ladder and grab it has 1 year to cash it in at their choosing. So it added that chaos element. You know, you're like, huh, what is this? I mean, because it's sad to say by 2005, ladder matches were kind of, they had to add another layer to it, you know?
And we love the Royal Rumble. We love pay-per-views where there's something on the line. We love Monday Night Raws where there are, you know, qualifying matches for things. So when you're adding the real competitive nature to it, you know, we love it. And now Money in the Bank has become one of the most looked forward to events simply because you're giving someone this massive opportunity. And that's why we love the Rumble. That's why we love Money in the Bank. That's why we love WrestleMania.
It's so fun because at this point now we've seen so many iterations of it. We've seen them botch the wrestlers cash in. We've seen them carry it perfectly, and they cash in at the perfect time, a la Dolph Ziggler and Seth Rollins.
And Damian Priest at WrestleMania 40.
We've also seen them cash in that night, and it be great. We've also seen surprises, people get entered into the match that shouldn't have never been in the match in the first place.
Austin Theory's
Brock
horrible Money in the Bank winning.
So it started, first match was at WrestleMania 21. Like I said, Jericho came up with it. It was Jericho, Benoit, Benjamin, Edge, who won it, Kane, Tomko, and Christian. Edge, in true Edge fashion, used a chair to knock off, I think it was Kane. It got his match, and he cashed in after John Cena went through the Elimination Chamber. Everyone can remember Vince McMahon coming out and being like, we're not done yet, lift the chamber. Poor Cena looking dead, being like, oh, and here comes Edge, and that's when he was the rated R superstar, handed McMahon the briefcase, and history was made as the first cash-in. Done deal. Were you a fan about it?
I was. That was awesome when that happened. I mean, shocking. Oh, God.
It set the tone for like, okay, these cash-ins are going to be fantastic.
Yeah, and they're going to be chaos.
Yeah.
And, oh my God.
I had no idea he was going to come in after the elimination.
Right, and it can just happen at any time. Like, really? You almost had people looking around like, wait, is this legal? Like,
yeah. I remember the fans are like,
this is literal robbery.
Is this? Can he do this?
Yeah.
Next match, WrestleMania 22, the following year. It was Carlito's idea this time around. He brought it to management on air.
Love it.
Like, how about a Money in the Bank? This was the first time it was an inter-promotional match. The first one was just Raw superstars. This one had SmackDown and Raw superstars in it. Lashley, Finlay, RVD, Matt Hardy, Ric Flair, Shelton Benjamin.
That was a wild one.
RVD won.
Yeah.
And poor Cena got cashed in by Edge on the first one. Cena got cashed in on this one. People remember the ECW One Night Only where all the fans were saying, if Cena wins, we riot.
One of the greatest clips in just matches in wrestling history. If you watch that match in full, you see the true passion of professional wrestling fans.
Yes.
True passion of the stories that are told.
Really, the first time casual WWE fans got to feel ECW. Like, yeah, it was a watered down WWE, ECW, but it was ECW. That I wish I would have gotten to go to an ECW event.
Yeah.
When it was in the mid 90s. I mean, I would have been 10, but it would have been great.
Yeah.
RVD also gave notice ahead of time and set up the match for his cash in. So that was,
classy move.
Yeah, you're like,
set an expectation that you can do that.
The following year, WrestleMania 23, they're going to keep it going. This time, Raw, SmackDown, and ECW superstars. We had CM Punk, Randy Orton, Finlay again, Mr. Kennedy, King Booker, Matt, and Jeff Hardy, and Edge went with Mr. Kennedy on this one. But
weird call.
This is when they were already starting to lose faith in him because Edge beat him for the case before he could cash in. Yeah. Edge cashes in on Undertaker. Another successful cash in. So we're three for three for cash ins for our Money in the Bank champ so far. What a weird group of people.
Totally.
Mr. Kennedy.
Right.
What could have been? We got to do an episode on Mr. Kennedy.
Yes.
Following year, WrestleMania 24, and the year after that, WrestleMania 25, CM Punk, first back-to-back winner, cashed in on Edge and Jeff Hardy respectively, and really built up his persona as a villain because Jeff Hardy was loved by this point.
Yeah.
So when he cashed in, you literally had fans being like, no, don't do it.
I just went back and rewatched those feuds because I didn't watch them live in real time.
Jeff Hardy and CM Punk, great feud.
Yeah.
Right before Jeff kind of...
Yeah.
Because his TNA days were... I went back and watched that match with Sting.
Yeah, it's
where
tough.
he wasn't really there. Oh, yowza. 2010, number 6, last one at WrestleMania, and it was a stinker. Jack Swagger becomes the first failed cash-in. He tries to cash in on Cena, and Cena says, no. Jack Swagger? What was the understanding of that one? They never pushed that dude.
No.
And he was a legit wrestler, a legit fighter.
It's when they just
had a lisp.
That was a time when they weren't utilizing Money in the Bank properly at all.
So it was weird. They had, in 2010, they had the ladder match at WrestleMania, which is a stinker, but then they also introduced it a couple months later as its own pay-per-view.
Right.
So awkward little... Jack Swagger had to cash in after they had another match.
Right.
So Kane won that one. I guess they kept it on SmackDown. He cashed in on Rey Mysterio the same night. So Kane won and cashed in before Swagger cashed his.
I love a same night cash in.
Yes. Miz won the Raw one. This is just when they were doing men's matches. He cashed in on Orton after a Nexus attack in November of that year. So Miz kept his. Can you imagine 3 cases at one point? Just flip. Like, who's what? What are we doing?
Crazy.
2011, it's its own thing now. Second year in. Alberto Del Rio won the Raw, and they integrated that into the Summer of Punk storyline, where CM Punk kept threatening to leave. He said, I'm going to take the WWE title with me. McMahon tried to talk Del Rio into cashing in more times than he wanted to. He finally cashed in and beat CM Punk at one point. Daniel Bryan won the SmackDown and cashed in on a knocked out Mark Henry, but it was reversed. So then he cashed in on a knocked out Big Show from Mark Henry.
Yeah.
You know, it's not about when, it's about on who. Mm-hmm. 2012, we're not keeping it brand. It's not a Raw or a SmackDown. It's title specific. So it's WWE title and World Heavyweight title matches.
Like that.
So Dolph won the heavyweight champion, and he had one of my favorite cash-ins of all time on Del Rio the night after WrestleMania when Big E was his muscle. AJ Lee was his love interest at that time. Great cash-in.
Yeah, great cash-in. Turned Dolph into a legend that night.
Yeah. It was kind of interesting on the other side. The WWE Championship had a former champions only stipulation. So John Cena won that one, and he failed to cash in at Raw 1000.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, he was another one, called his shot. He's like, I'm going to cash in on you. And
who did he cash in on?
If I'm not mistaken, was it Punk? Yeah, it was CM Punk. He told Punk, this is when Punk was killing that tweener role. You had Del Rio, the bad guy. You had The Miz, the bad guy. You had Cena, the clear babyface that people were starting to turn on. And then you had the cool CM Punk that people were like, well, maybe we like this guy more. 2013 saw Randy Orton get his first Money in the Bank win, beating a field of Daniel Bryan, Sheamus, Christian, and RVD. That's when Orton cashed in after the Triple H was the guest referee and he pedigreed Daniel Bryan, allowing Orton to win with Cena. And then Sandow won the heavyweight chance. You know, he had some epic battles with Cody, his Rhodes Scholar tag team partner, with Cody throwing the briefcase in the ocean at one point.
Yeah.
And he had a failed cash in against John Cena. I'd like to see John Cena's record on cash in.
I love that.
Like
stat.
as him being the champion. 2014 was supposed to be for a title opportunity. Ends up being for the vacant title that Daniel Bryan had to vacate due to his neck injury the first time. Cena won that one. But then Seth Rollins is like, well, we also need a contract ladder match. Because this is when the titles were unified in 2014. So Seth Rollins wins that one. And then we get the epic cash-in at WrestleMania between Lesnar, Roman, and him.
Epic.
Which he supposedly whispered to Roman, thank you, like during all that. Because that was supposed to be Roman's moment. And people, that's what I try to remember when everyone's like, Roman's title reign was too long. I was like, dude went through it to win.
Yeah, totally.
He's getting the Drew McIntyre treatment.
Yeah.
Whenever he gets it, it gets taken right from him.
Yeah.
Because you're about to see a string of things where they just screwed him over. 2015, Ziggler, Kofi Kingston, Sheamus, Neville, Roman Reigns, Orton, and Kane. Sheamus would win.
Yep.
Roman would get into the title picture. Sheamus would cash in on Roman after a match with Dean Ambrose.
Yeah.
So Sheamus getting the title there. Next year, Ambrose wins and cashes in on Seth, who had just beat Roman. First time in WWE history a stable was champion. Every member of the stable was champion in the same day.
Amazing.
So it went from Roman to Seth to Dean, like that. And then they just completely screwed Dean over.
Yeah.
We could still be getting some epic Shield battles, man. 2017, the brands came back. Corbin wins SmackDown. Failed to cash in on Jinder Mahal. Didn't think they'd respect Jinder on that, you know?
Yeah.
We get the first women's match in 2017.
That was awesome.
Carmella won thanks to James Ellsworth. Daniel Bryan, the GM of SmackDown at the time, says, no, we're not doing this. Carmella wins again with James Ellsworth. She would hold the title she would hold the briefcase for the longest, 287 days.
Mella's money.
Before cashing in on Charlotte. Charlotte seems to be the female John Cena. She's got cashed in on a lot.
Yeah. Well, that's how you build up someone's title reign.
Yeah. 2018, we get one men's and one's women. We're not keeping it brand specific. If you win, you get a shot at your brand's title. Clear as day. Strowman wins the men's, fails to cash in. There was some things going on. Roman, they were protecting some people at that point. He tried to cash in on Roman. It was no contest or something like that. It was very awkward how he lost his title, or how he lost his contract. But Bliss won the women's, and she cashed in that night on Nia Jax and Rousey and won the women's title.
Yep.
Like I said, love it.
Which was
cash
awesome.
in. 2019, that's when everyone, Sami Zayn got attacked backstage, and they're like, who did this? And they sent someone home thinking that was them who did the attack. Turned out it was Brock Lesnar. He comes out at the end, demolishes everyone, grabs the briefcase. Remember when he had the boom box on it? He'd come out? That was stupid. He ended up cashing in on Seth. So he takes the belt from Seth at Extreme Rules. Bayley would win the women's and cash in on Charlotte that same night and win. To the 2020s when they had to get creative and do it at headquarters. That was the famous Otis win.
That was a weird one.
Otis wins, and then Miz won the contract from him before he could cash in, and then Miz cashed in and won on McIntyre, and then got destroyed.
Yep.
Was it Lesnar or Lashley? One of those two just beat the crap out of him like that.
Yep.
And null and voided this whole thing.
Yep.
This was the low point for Money in the Bank.
Yes, and WWE in general.
Yes. Asuka would win the women's, and the women's match was way better than the men's.
Yes.
They had some great spots and got very creative in headquarters. And Becky's pregnant. Surprise, Asuka doesn't get the chance. She opens the briefcase, and it's the belt. And Becky has an emotional goodbye. Asuka's like, what is going on? So they salvaged it a little bit with that storyline, and they didn't even mean to.
Right.
I love how Becky's best storylines were by accident. The broken nose, the pregnancy.
Yep. That's how it goes.
Yeah. 2021, we get a little bit of hope. Big E wins the men's, cashes in successfully on Bobby Lashley. So I'm like, dude, this is great.
Yeah.
Didn't have the best title run, breaks his neck shortly after. Devastating. Women, a little bit different story. This is the year Nikki ASH wins, cashes in on Charlotte. Wins, but has a terrible championship win. I guess they thought the fans were going to get behind her wholeheartedly, and they did not. But hopefully she's on to bigger and better things as Sister Abigail in the Wyatt family. So 2022, that's when McMahon was putting all his cards behind Austin Theory. So Austin Theory gets inserted in and wins. That's when McMahon was just berating him like a son. I guess he was bringing back all those things he wish he could have said to Shane all those years. He wins, failed cash in on Seth Rollins because I feel like he won the contract and then they gave up on him immediately.
Yeah. Immediately.
Same thing with Otis. You know, they get as far as to let's push these guys, and you're like, all right,
and then they're like, no,
and then they're like, nah.
Yeah, makes no sense.
Liv won it on the women's side, cashed in on Ronda Rousey successfully, and then of course we got Io Sky and Damian Priest were last year's champs. Both had great cash-ins. Io won and would go on to have that great feud with Bayley, which I wish would have had a little more layers to it, you know? Kind of split up the group, and then they're like, I beat Io twice, and you're like, now go away.
Yeah.
Damian, you said it, one of the best cash-ins, started this whole CM Punk, Drew McIntyre mess, and it's been perfect. That's a great storyline, is when it can be integrated into other storylines, and it doesn't take away from the other storyline.
Right.
So who you thinking they're giving the cases to? Who's your early favorites for 2024?
Either Logan Paul or Roman Reigns.
You put Roman in my head. I kind of like that. Have him come back at Money in the Bank. Don't tell nobody.
Yeah.
Just enter in that, and then you can start laying the groundwork for him and Jay getting back, mend and fix it. Fences. Totally. Have a little teamwork go on in the.
Be nice.
I'm excited about it. I want that or the Wyatt to take over.
Yeah, it'd be fun. Uncle Howdy.
They come in and just demolish everybody, and then it just falls into Uncle Howdy's hands.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know you're not on board with it. I'm still okay with LA Knight. I'm still okay with him winning the belt. I know we're split on that one, but I'm still okay with him.
I guess LA Knight would be fine.
Orton too, but I want Orton to just get the match with Cody. I don't want him to have the
he don't need it.
But I think Logan Paul's interesting. You know, you can get some cocky promos from that dude.
Exactly.
Another thing where I'm excited wherever. And on the women's side too, there's so many different ladies they can give the briefcase to that would make so much sense. Io Sky again, you know, back-to-back winners, you know. Returning Charlotte. Charlotte's due to come back at some point soon. Naomi, who's been getting some wins.
Set up something with Bayley, yeah.
Tiffy.
Ooh, Tiffy.
So many ladies they can give the contract to. So
love it.
Another must-watch PLE from WWE. They keep knocking it out of the park, and this is another international one. So we got to see what the crowd's like in Toronto.
Can't wait.
Yeah, I'm excited about it.
Subscribe.
Stay tuned. We got more coming your way. We'll see you next time.